a year ago, 5-4. First pitch up high for ball one. Ichiro second in the American League in batting average, hitting .362. And he comes into this game tonight riding an 11-game hitting streak.
128 hits for this guy. What a machine.
Pops the pitch up, shallow center. Sizemore coming a long way in. Makes the grab in center field for out number one. The number two hitter is an old familiar face to Tribe fans, Russell Branyan. And a career revival for Branyan in Seattle. Comes in batting .280. Tied for second in the American League with 22 home runs. He's 2 homers shy of his career high.
Well, they brought him over, the new general manager from Milwaukee, and he fit in. I mean, just like a glove, and you wouldn't think this guy would be in the number 2 hole. But his average this year, .280, 22 home runs, 49 ribbies. He still has 95 strikeouts, and he will do that. If you make your pitch, he will swing and miss. He's got that slight uppercut. But Seattle looking for power, and he is the main man because they are 12th in the league in home runs with 84 as a team.
The 1-1 pitch. Up and in. 2 balls and a strike. The Indians employ a 3-man shift on the infield right side for Branyan. The 2-1 delivery is up high, 3 balls and a strike. Branyan, he told me part of it's a product of knowing that I'm going to play every day, knowing that I'm going to get those 4 at bats every day. I don't have to look over my shoulder. A little more selective at the plate this year, not chasing as many bad balls. Takes a strike, count goes full. But as you said, you can't change a hitter completely. He's still going to swing and miss. He's still going to strike out. But the average to be at .280 at this point in the year is surprising.
That's exactly right. .280 with the, I mean, his career high is 24 home runs. And you can see when he gets into the ball.
It's off the fence in deep center field. He's got at least 2. And Branyan's just going to pull in gingerly.
Did he do something to his leg?
At second base.
I mean, that should be an automatic triple, I would think. He was just cruising.
Branyan with the 1-out double.
Take a look and see. I mean, he was just on cruise control unless he thought he hit a home run right out of the get-go. Now that should be a triple. With 1 out, as a hitter, you should be standing on third base. You see who has to come get it is the left fielder, Francisco. And he just cruised into second. My goodness.
He was thinking 2 out of the box the whole way.
Well, 2. He was thinking 1, where he could cruise all the way around. Now, when you're a team like Seattle, and they do it by pitching, and they win the 1-run games, 1 run could make a big difference. If he's on third base, you give Lopez now an opportunity to drive you in with 1 out in the first inning and take a lead.
In dirt, good stop by Shopping.
That's one thing every player can do is hustle. I don't care whether you think you get one or not. You can still run until you see it go over the fence.
Well, he rounded first, and he had absolutely no thought of third base. He was...
Well, you can't pull a muscle that way, can you? Well, yeah, you can. It might atrophy on you if you're not running.
1-0 count. Lopez takes a strike, and that evens the count of 1-1. Lopez, a career .228 hitter against the Indians. The 1-1 pitch. Big bouncer to third. Easy play for Peralta. 2 down. Take one more look at Branyan coming out of the box.
Now that tells me that that's a home run. He thinks it's a home run. It hits the wall and deflects it past him. Either there's something wrong with him. Really, there's got to be something wrong with him if he can't run faster than that. That's what it tells me.
Here is Ken Griffey Jr. with a runner at second and 2 down. Jr., who started his career in Seattle before moving on to Cincinnati and then Chicago, and now back with the Mariners. How about Junior's career numbers against the Indians? A .286 lifetime average against Cleveland, 37 homers and 99 runs batted in.
Well, you go back into the days with the Kingdome and when he was a young man coming out of Cincinnati, and this kid was the best player in all of baseball, bar none.
That was a few pounds ago and a whole bunch of leg injuries ago. The 2-0 delivery in there for a strike.
I remember a few years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, Griffey hit when he was with the Reds. Was it 499 off Cliff or 498 home run? And then the next one, time up, it was over his head.
Grounds out weakly to end the inning. And the Branyan one-out double does no damage. Now the Indians will take their turn against Garrett Olson when we come back. Go to the bottom of the first. Here's the starting nine for Eric Wedge, brought to you by Progressive Insurance, proud to be the official auto insurance provider of the Cleveland Indians. It's Grady Sizemore, Asdrubal Cabrera, and Shin-Soo Choo. Martinez, Hafner, and Peralta in the middle. Ben Francisco, Jamie Carroll, and Kelly Shopik. Grady Sizemore back in the leadoff spot tonight.
Familiar place. I was wondering how long it was going to take for Eric to get him back into that leadoff spot.
Oh, after the All-Star break, good a time as any.
Well, and Cabrera didn't do a bad job. I mean, when he was there, he did actually a pretty good job. And, you know, Cabrera also will do a nice job hitting second because it flip-flops. You got the switch hitter. You got a left-hander Choo hitting third. You got the switch hitter behind him. Then you can move Hafner up to the fifth spot. So I like that.
Up the middle and into center field.
Welcome back.
Grady Sizemore is aboard with a leadoff single. And he is one of a number of Indians with great career numbers against Seattle. Sizemore, a .314 lifetime hitter against the M's.
Let's check out the Mariners defense. They are rated dead last in the American League with 68 errors. Langer Hands in left, Gutierrez in center, Ichiro in right. Woodard at third, Cedeno at short, Lopez at second, Branyan at first, Jojima behind the plate. Ichiro Suzuki is in right.
Garrett Olson is interesting in that he has not started a game now since July the 4th.
That was a good start against the Boston Red Sox.
So the question tonight is how deep can he go in this ball game? His last couple of outings, just one inning appearances out of the pen.
Well, it was a season high 6 1/3 in that last start against the Red Sox where he gave up 4 hits and 2 runs. Didn't get a decision, but the team got a 3-2 win.
1 ball, 1 strike. The count on Asdrubal Cabrera, the former Mariner farmhand. Olson's coming to first. Sizemore back standing.
Now, Olson last year with the Baltimore Orioles. He went to the Chicago Cubs last year and then came to Seattle from the Cubs with the shortstop Ronnie Cedeno in exchange for Aaron Heilman. That was at the start of this year in January.
Mariners have been a busy ball club going back to last off season. Ever since the Bavasi regime was removed. Don Wakamatsu coming on as manager. New general manager Jack Zadurncik. And of course he brought with him Carmen Fusco as the director of pro scouting, and Tom McNamara, the director of amateur scouting. He brought those guys with him from Milwaukee.
Right.
And as
that's
I said,
why
they've been wheeling and dealing ever since.
When you think about it, this team, the Seattle Mariners, lost 101 games last year. They have the largest improvement in baseball in a year. They've done a terrific job.
Cabrera slugs one in the alley. Suzuki won't get it. On his way to third is Sizemore. He's going to be waved home. Into second with a double is Cabrera, and the Indians have a 1-0 lead. As Drupal Cabrera with his 19th double and his 35th run batted in as the Tribe jumps in front 1-0.
Boy, right out of the chute, the Indians come up. They have a run. Cliff Lee must be in shock. They already have him a run in the bottom of the first. This is going to be our McDonald's. I'm loving it. First two hitters of the ball game. It looked like a changeup up and away, or maybe a fastball that Cabrera stayed on nicely. Plugs the gap in right center field. Gets his 19th double, his 35th ribby, and the Indians will take a 1-0 lead.
Now Shin-Soo Choo. And it's up high for ball one. Choo comes into this game here this evening, 5th in the league in on-base percentage, tied for 4th in walks. And he's among the top 20 in runs batted in and stolen bases. Chopper foul over toward the Mariners dugout. He has been the Indians' most consistent and steady performer this year. And against his old club, a .370 hitter with 4 homers. Olson looks Cabrera back to second. And the left-hander with a 1-1 pitch. A called strike. Outfield plays him straight away. And the 1-2 pitch is down low. Choo able to check his swing, and the count back to even now at 2-2.
Well, you figured he was going to try and get that punch out so he cannot advance the base runner at second base. Choo, the leader on this ball club in strikeouts with 85. He's trying to get a ground ball or get that guy over.
Pop foul out of play. The Indians have now scored 452 runs on the year, compared to 348 for Seattle. The difference, though, is runs allowed. Indians have allowed 498. Mariners just 366. Checked,
yes,
but did he go too far?
Yes, he did.
Third base up, Chad Fairchild rings him up, 1 down.
Yeah, he went out there and it looked like he was looking for a breaking ball away and just couldn't hold up on the fastball. He wanted to get it started, and he did go around.
So with a 1 out, Indians All-Star Victor Martinez will be the batter. Charlie Manuel was not going to give Martinez a chance to beat him in that All-Star game, so he intentionally walked the Indians catcher. And then it was Adam Jones, a former Mariner, who got the sac fly.
Was.
Now with the Orioles. Runner at second, 1 out. Time finally called. Olson was taking too much time. Martinez, like so many of his teammates, good career numbers against Seattle. He's a .327 lifetime hitter against the Mariners with 9 homers and 36 runs batted in. Over the outside corner for a called strike. Victor Martinez had a career night in Seattle back in 2004 against the Mariners. He was 5 for 5 in that game with 3 homers and 7 runs batted in.
I remember that game.
He homered from both sides of the plate. That same year, he also collected his first career pinch hit homer, and it came against the Mariners.
You know, and that is not a hitter's paradise. As a matter of fact, we'll be there next weekend.
7 games between these two teams over the next 10 days. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Hopefully that familiar success he's had against Seattle will get Martinez off to a good start here after the All-Star break.
That and Cliff Lee on the mound, 7-1. There goes Cabrera.
Throw to third, and they got him. 2 down.
Caught for the 3rd time this year, and when you got a guy like Victor up and early, you've really got to make sure you're going to make it. It's okay if you get a good jump, and you can't. It's easier to steal third off a left-hander than it is second. But when you're this early into the ball game, you've got your RBI guy leading the team at the dish with 1 out. You got to let him hit. No reason to try and steal.
Now the 2-1 pitch out of play.
And this guy went from having the first 2 hitters on base and a run in to having 2 outs and nobody on.
And now Olson with a 2-2 pitch. Down and in, full count. Yeah, you never want to let a starter off the hook in the first inning when you got him up against the ropes a little bit.
And, you know, I'm not against him trying to steal, but you got to make sure you make it, especially with this guy at the plate. It's just simple thinking right there. Later on in the game, it's a different situation. You know you've been out there, but you don't want to. He was thrown out by plenty, too.
Up high, ball 4. First walk. And a runner aboard with 2 down now for Travis Hafner, who also has done well in his career against the Mariners. Pronk riding a 5-game hitting streak coming in, and a .291 lifetime hitter against Seattle with 9 homers, 25 runs batted in. This will be the 20th pitch of the first inning coming up for Garrett Olson. And Hafner takes the first pitch strike.
Got your favorite umpire behind home plate tonight, don't we? Jim Joyce, a man who can scream out a strike.
He's got the most recognizable strike call, I think, in the game.
Yes, he does. He lets everybody know. There's no question about it.
Martinez, the runner at first with 2 down. The 0-1. Missed down and in with it. Indians scoring here in the first on the RBI double by Asdrubal Cabrera that scored Grady Sizemore. Now 2 down and a runner at first, and a 1-1 count for Travis Hafner. Just missed with that pitch. 2-1.
We'll see what the second half brings for Travis Hafner. How many days he can play before the fatigue sets into the shoulder.
Pop back out of play.
You know, and when you think about this is the first time we played the Mariners, you know, this year. So, you know, you go through your scouting reports, you have your team meetings, and you go over everything. But I wonder, and I'm sure Cabrera knows, that Jojima now has thrown out 14 of the 29 base stealers, so he's at 48%. Now, you get to 30%, and it's very good as a catcher. He's at 48.
Just missed outside. Full count. You can see the look on Cabrera's face.
Yeah.
He knows that.
Well, he knows. That's okay, man. Yeah, I mean, that's how you learn.
Martinez will be off with a 3-2 pitch. And Hafner pulls it into the glove of Russell Brandon, and the inning is over. But the Indians grab the early lead thanks to the RBI double by Asdrubal Cabrera. And after 1, it's 1-0 Cleveland. Cleveland Indians baseball brought to you by Continental Airlines, official airline of the Cleveland Indians. Continental Airlines, work hard, fly right. By McCafe Coffees at McDonald's, all made to order with fresh ground espresso beans. And by All Care Dental and Dentures, we make seeing the dentist easy. Franklin Gutierrez leading off the second inning for Seattle and looks at a first pitch strike from Cliff Lee. Gutierrez tops in the American League in the month of July, batting .404. He is some kind of hot right now.
Well, he picked it up. You're right. The last 23 games has turned it on. And, you know, this guy, people rave about him defensively. Well, we've known that. We knew he could play defense with the best of them no matter where. Now he's just starting to put a little offense together. He was a dead red hitter when he was here. You got to force him to hit the breaking ball.
Asdrubal Cabrera calling for it, but Carroll didn't hear him. And Asdrubal hangs on for the out, one away. Check out our great clip of the game. Go back to Friday, Cliff Lee's last start before the All-Star break. And another good one for Cliff against the Detroit Tigers. Relax, you're at Great Clips. In that start for Cliff Lee, 7 innings, 3 runs, 5 hits, 8 strikeouts, and his 9th loss of the year. Ryan Langerhans looks at a ball inside. Langerhans came to Seattle from the Washington Nationals. Of course, we saw a lot of Langerhans during spring training in previous years when we were in Winter Haven when he was with the Atlanta Braves. Big bouncing ball. Martinez will take it himself. 2 down. Fans, don't forget to check out the Alvin's Jewelers Pray for Rain special. If there's an engagement in your future, you buy your engagement ring at Alvin's Jewelers. Then if it rains on your wedding day, the engagement ring is free. Log on to alvinsjewelers.com for all the details. Here is Kenji Jojima. Hit in his last 3 games heading into the All-Star break. He has struggled against the Indians in his career, just a 175 career hitter against Tribe pitching. Two balls, no strikes. There's a line drive base hit into left field. Second hit tonight for Seattle, and a 2-out base runner for Chris Woodward.
Put a nice stroke on this ball. Up. Pitch was up. Fastball upstairs. So he turns on it. Second hit for Seattle.
Chris Woodward batting .286, manning third base in the absence of Adrian Beltre. And the Mariners, they're still up in the air as to what they're going to do as they approach the trading deadline. The question is, are they in it or are they not in it?
I would have to think that with their pitching, they're going to have to go in and try and get some hitting. That's where their problem is. They get a guy or some power, and some help. These guys are, you know, what are they, 4 back?
4 back in the West, and that's probably their best bet because right now the way Boston and New York are going at it, you figure that's where the wild card has its best chance of coming out of.
Right, and Tampa right there. I mean, so
yeah,
you know, the wild card will come out of the East.
Not that they still couldn't win the wild card. I'm not saying anything like that, but right now they've got to look in their division, and they're only 4 out. But as we all know, over the next 2 weeks, a lot can change. And so if they hit a rough patch where they drop 7 out of 10 or something to that effect, then maybe they go the other way and look to sell off some pieces.
That is true. I mean, you could do that, but I would think they should be looking for a little more help offensively. I don't know when Beltre's coming back, but he's had shoulder problems.
Peralta goes the short way to end the inning. We'll go to the bottom of the second here at Progressive Field. It's Cleveland 1 and Seattle 0. Talking with first base coach Louis Rivera. Pretty good chance he's talking to him about that attempted steal at third.
That's exactly what they're going over right now. No doubt.
Johnny Peralta backhanded to third. Woodward makes a nice play. And Peralta out number one. Let's check out tonight's Alltel text poll question of the game. How many wins do you think the Indians will end up with this season? Well, they put the hammer down and roar back for 81 or more. 75 to 80, 70 to 74, less than 70. Text your answer to 31962, and we'll have the results later in the game. Ben Francisco takes a first pitch strike from Garrett Olson. Popped out of play. Francisco, despite just one hit in his last 11 at bats, has batted .379 over his last 11 games. In the dirt. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Just missed with that pitch, and the count evens up at 2-2. Very close to being strike 3. But Francisco has the count back to even now. Back to the screen. A guy like Garrett Olson has been the exception to the rule this year for Cliff Lee. I counted 7 times in his 19 starts that he has faced the opposing ace of a staff, and 1 time he faced an all-star in Edwin Jackson.
He had 5 all-star pitchers he's pitched against this year.
Ground ball to third. Woodward throws him out, 2 down.
No.
Nope.
That ball must have gotten the sun.
Branyan turns away, and you can see right away he's going to go for some sunglasses.
What was it, a surprise? The sun came out. It's been there. This is the 2nd inning. You know, that last throw from Woodward I thought might have been got to him. But now you go get the glasses. Well, I mean, there's the throw right into the sun. Look at him. Watch him turn away. He didn't even see the ball. He's going to get out of the baseline, and that was just a routine play. That's got to go as an error on Branyan.
And it is.
I mean, I thought the throw before when he threw Peralta out, it was up and he had to go high on the bag, but you can see where that sun is starting to peer in. But it surprises me that it took him a while, or it cost him an error to get the glasses.
So a chance for the Indians now with a runner at second and 1 out, and Jamie Carroll fouls one off.
Well, we told you they're the worst defensive team in the league. That is error number 69, and that is the 10th error on first baseman for Seattle. That's a lot of errors over there, and they're infielders. Shortstop has 12, third base has 19, second base 12, and now first basemen are in double digits. That's a lot.
It's surprising because they don't score a lot, and yet they're winning a lot of 1-run games.
That's exactly right. That is scary.
Carroll slices one foul on the right side.
Well, they've won 21 one-run games, which is most in Major League Baseball. That is a lot of wins. I think they only had 18 all of last year. They have 8 two-run wins, you know, where they're in every ball game. So, as you mentioned, they don't score a lot. Seattle, they are 13th in the league in runs scored. But the close ones they take advantage of. They got solid pitching. But you got to take advantage when they make a mistake, and they have this inning.
Now the 1-2 just missed outside to even the count. Anyway, back to what we were talking about with Cliff Lee. 7 times he's faced the ace of an opposing staff, plus Edwin Jackson, who's an all-star, and Tim Wakefield, also an all-star.
And Halladay. And Verlander twice.
They're aces. I'm talking about combined.
Oh, I got
so
you.
7 guys plus those other 2 are all-stars. I mean, he hasn't had many starts against guys who were at the bottom of an opposing team's rotation.
CC twice. No, excuse me, once in New York.
2 against Verlander. He's had Millwood, Halladay, Burley, Carpenter of St. Louis.
Cueto.
Johnny Cueto, I guess you could say he's
their best pitcher.
Yeah, he's probably the ace of that staff now, too. The 2-2 pitch. Carroll yanks one left field line. Fair ball into the corner it goes. Francisco will score. Carroll into second with the RBI double, and the error hurts the Mariners here as the Indians now lead it 2-0.
Sure does. It certainly does. They take advantage of that error. It'll be, I'm sure, an unearned run. Second double for the Indians. Jamie Carroll ended up turning on the ball. So they will take a 2-0 lead. Fastball he left right there. Jamie Carroll does damage. So they take advantage of the Branyan error. And they have scored in the first 2 innings of this ball game.
Now Kelly Shoppach steps in. Shoppach is yet another Cleveland Indians player who loves to see the Seattle Mariner uniform opposing him. A .351 average against Mariner pitching with 2 homers and 7 runs batted in. Tribe on top 2-0 here in the second. And it's outside 2-0. What's even more discerning when you look at Cliff Lee's numbers this year composed to last year, the starters' ERAs that he has faced. Last year, the combined collective ERA was 5.78. So far this year, it's 3.13. That's a difference of 2.65.
Well, that's the difference of facing the number 5 starter and facing a number 1 starter for the most part. I mean, you want to be a top end of the rotation guy, and you got to go out there every 5th day and match up against the best. You have got to be your best. You know, and granted, he hasn't gotten the run support. He knows that, but his job, and I give Cliff Lee credit, he's gone out there every start. He hasn't changed his attitude. And, you know, he says, my job is to keep my team in the game. He's done that for the most part. But he's just come up on the losing end more times than not. This is a year he will definitely learn from.
3-0 the count on Shoppach. And it's ball 4. A 4-pitch free pass to Shoppach. So 2 on with 1 out. And now Grady Sizemore to the plate as the shortstop Ronnie Cedeno comes in to talk to Wilson. And also we'll get pitching coach Rick Adair heading to the center of the diamond as well.
Well, take advantage of the KeyBank Fun Bunch 4-packs. You get 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, or slices of pizza, and 4 Pepsi products for as low as $51. Fun Bunch ticket packages are a great way for the whole family to enjoy the game. So visit Indians.com, or you can call 216-420-HITS to purchase your tickets.
Rick Adair heads back to the dugout. Tribe fans may remember Rick Adair, who was
92-3.
The Indians pitching coach before that, their pitching coordinator in the minor leagues for a number of years.
Yeah, it was with Mike Hargrove.
Grady Sizemore singled to center his first time up tonight. Now he backs away. Olsen with a 1-0 pitch. And it's 2 balls and no strikes, and he's really having a tough time here in the second inning. He was looking at 2 outs and nobody on base. But the error by Russell Branyan has opened the gates for the Indians. They have 1 run on the board, looking for more with 2 aboard and only 1 out. Good pitch in there for a strike, 2-1.
Yeah, but you see, as a hitter, you don't have to swing at that. He's forced. If he's going to throw a breaking ball, he must throw it for a strike. But as a hitter, you don't have to swing at it. You can just spit on it and get a good look at the break.
Two-one pitch. Inside, he missed. And for the second consecutive inning, Garrett Olson has made at least 20 pitches. As Drupal Cabrera waits on deck. Sizemore, meanwhile, sitting in a pretty good spot right here. And a 3-1 pitch is a line drive floating down the right field line. It's fair. Coming around third, Jamie Carroll's going to score. On his way to third goes Kelly Shopik. Grady Sizemore with his second hit of the night. First run batted in of the evening. And the Indians now lead it 3-0.
Well, Grady, he took a good look at the 2-0 curveball. Now he gets the 3-1. He comes in, and even though he didn't hit it hard, he jammed him. He might have been looking curveball, but hit the fastball. He was able to react and hit it softly, but placed it perfectly. Drives in the second run of the inning. Grady now 2 for 2. He scored one, driven one in, and the Indians, that error really opened it up for these guys.
So first and third with one out, and it's Drupal Cabrera, who had an RBI double his first time up. Shoots it back to the screen. Told you earlier, the Indians lead the all-time series between these two clubs with a record of 97 and 68. But since the start of the 02 season, each team has won exactly 30 games in the series matchup. Right-hander Chris Jakabauskas warming for Seattle. Olson with the 0-2 pitch. Did he go? It was in the dirt. He was able to hold up. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 50 pitches now for Olson, and this was the concern at the outset. Mentioned the fact that he hasn't started since July the 4th.
You know, if they were to get 5 from him, they probably would have been thrilled to start this ball game. But the funny thing of it is that, I mean, he got through the first okay, gave up a run, but that error in the second after 1 out should have been 2 out, nobody on. Now they have 2 in, 2 on, and still just 1 out. So the Indians have really taken advantage of it.
Indians up 3-0, but looking for a big inning now. Olson's throw to first drives Sizemore back to the bag. You see the smiles of both Sizemore and Brandon. That sun's still a factor over there at first base.
You know, I'll tell you what, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I would stay out there till about 8:15, 8:30. It should be covered in shade here by the end of the inning.
Boy, already you're talking about the sun going down earlier.
Yeah.
Say it ain't so.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, look at that. That is unbelievable with that camera looking up. Of course, that's picking up some of the windows from the Terrace Club, but boy, that is awfully bright. And that should be out of play here in another couple of minutes.
2-2 pitch. Ground ball to short, could be 2. They get 1, and the relay is in time for an inning-ending double play. But the Indians take advantage of the error and score a pair. And through 2, it's now Cleveland 3, Seattle nothing. Garrett Olson and catcher Kenji Jojima talking with Rick Adair, the Seattle pitching coach. He was able to get out of a jam there with the double play ball. Could have been a lot worse for Seattle. As it is, 3-0 Cleveland for Cliff Lee. Ronnie Cedeno, the number 9 hitter, will lead it off. Not long ago, Seattle traded shortstop Unieski Betancourt to Kansas City. To those outside of Seattle, those of us who don't necessarily follow the Mariners on a day-to-day basis, seemed like a surprising trade, but when you talk to some of the guys in the Seattle clubhouse, they were not all that surprised at all.
Day by day, when you see the guy on a daily basis. You know, we see him twice a year, and it seems like he was a great player when we did see him and heard everything about him.
To use an old saying, Ricky had worn out his welcome.
Yeah. Well, that certainly happens in the game of baseball. Kansas City going to take a chance. We don't know if that'll give them a new lease on life, but they were looking for a shortstop.
2-2 the count on Cedeno. Already talked about the number of Indians players who've had good career numbers against Seattle, and then you've got Cliff Lee, who's 7-1 in his career against the Mariners. That's the highest career win percentage against Seattle, with at least 10 starts made against them. Barry Zito's second on that list at 12-3. Santana 7-2.
All left-handers.
Yeah.
And you know what? They're actually 14-11 against left-handers this year. They're better this year than in the past, but you mentioned all left-handed pitchers.
Back to the screen. Full count on Ronnie Cedeno. Tell you what, this is one of those stats that's not exactly going to get you all excited. But it's just one of those scheduling quirks that you see from time to time. In the air, deep center. Sizemore back to the track. The wall. He makes the catch and hangs on. Oh, Grady Sizemore on the dead run. Made the catch. Hit hard into the center field fence and hung on for out number 1.
Well, he made a terrific break and got a good read on it and just went all out. I mean, his turn, his route, and everything was perfect because all he had to do was reach over his one shoulder. And, I mean, he had to extend out all the way. Terrific running catch by Grady. Beautifully done, and then he kisses the wall once. Yes is right. Cliff said, "That boy, if it stays in the park, catch it." He did. Nice play.
Now here comes Ichiro Suzuki, who flied to shallow center his first time up. This is only the 7th game this year that the Indians have played against the American League West.
Right.
And that's the fewest number of games against a divisional opponent within their own league in all of baseball.
Sure. Well, we started out the first 3 games of the year were against Texas. And then right before the break, it was Oakland.
That's been it.
I know.
Ichiro second in the league in batting average, only to Joe Mauer of the Twins. Firestone, a tradition of innovation. There are a number of teams who have 9 games against divisional foes, but the Indians at 6, the fewest. There's a base hit the other way for Suzuki. And that extends his hitting streak to 12 in a row.
He is truly amazing. It's a wand up there. You want him to hit the ball in the air like he did his first at-bat, but that one he was able to get on top and just slap the other way. Look at him stay up. He keeps his hands back as well as any hitter you will see in the game. He lifts that front foot. It looks like he's running out of that box, but his hands stay back. And that came on an 0-2 pitch.
Russell Brandon takes a strike. He doubled to deep center field his first time up. Brandon breaks his bat, bounces it to first. Martinez goes to second. They get one. The relay, it's not on the mark, and Martinez did good just to get out of the way of a collision. Brandon safe at first on the fielder's choice. Luckily for him and Martinez, there was not a violent collision.
Well, Victor gets a good throw there. And now let's see what, oh, it's Peralta taking it from third base. It's just a bad throw. They had plenty of time. Johnny coming over from third, you know, they had plenty of time to make that throw.
With that
they could have
shift
turned
on.
that double play.
Now Jose Lopez looks at a first pitch strike. There's a high pop fouled on the left side, out of play. So you've got a runner at first with two down. Brandon aboard on that fielder's choice. There's a drive into center, but Grady Sizemore has it measured, and the inning is over. We'll head to the bottom of the third here at Progressive Field. It remains Cleveland 3, Seattle nothing. Back here at Progressive Field on a beautiful night, Indians with a 3-0 lead. Shin-Soo Choo to lead off the home half of the third against Garrett Olson. And he fouls one out of play. Choo called out on strikes his first time up. Indians got one in the first, two more in the second. One ball, two strikes. Missed off the plate, and that will even the count at 2-2. And it's down low, full count.
That's the one thing they've been able to do is even when Olson has been ahead of some of the hitters, they've been able to work them to at least go to even the count back up or full counts.
And the payoff pitch is lined
Good
toward
swing.
left field. That's going to drop. Longer hands, plays it back. And the Indians get their leadoff man aboard. Already the 5th hit tonight for the Tribe.
Watch this, a beautiful stroke inside, staying inside. When you hear a lot of people talk about staying inside the baseball, that's exactly what they mean. You see where he let that ball get deep into his zone, and he never really torqued through that baseball until he hit it from the inside out. Took it to left field, a nice swing. So the leadoff man aboard again. They've done it in the 1st and the 3rd.
Victor Martinez, who drew a walk his first time up. I was just thinking, Rick, could you imagine? And it's always easy to go back in hindsight. But if the Mariners had not traded Chu to Cleveland, they'd have an outfield of Ichiro, Gutierrez, and Chu.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, they very well could.
Strike to the outside edge.
Well, you know, every team can say that. You know, they could have Cabrera playing shortstop, so as opposed to being here. You know, but we could go out and we could have Gutierrez playing the outfield here if we kept him. How about that?
The 1-1 pitch. Yeah, you're right. Every team in baseball can go
sit
back
and
say,
look.
boy, if we only hadn't traded so-and-so, look what we'd have.
Sometimes it just doesn't work out for certain players and organizations, and it's better for them to move on, and it's a new lease on life, and they, you know, they thrive and they bloom in other organizations. That's just the way the game goes. You wish them the best and you move on.
Martinez yanks one foul.
You know, every organization, a point in time comes where they have to make decisions, you know, with a player. You know, you get to the minor leagues and it's time to, after his 3 years, you got to put him on the 40-man. Does he stay into the big leagues? And they've got 5-year minor league free agents now, and a lot of movement in baseball. You hope you make the right selections and keep the right pieces.
The 2-2 is inside, full count. Another 3-2 pitch coming up here.
That's his 4th full count.
And Victor, who drew a walk his first time up.
Well, he won't be in this game much longer if he continues to go this deep.
Runner goes, swing and a miss, throw to second base, and they
Look
got
at
him.
this guy. I mean,
That's
this guy,
the
you talk
first
about
time
accurate.
this year Shin-Soo Choo has been thrown out trying to steal.
That's a strike him out, throw him out, double play. This guy is accurate. He's almost 50% now.
Choo was the only player in the league who had at least 10 steals and had not been caught yet this year. But he's nabbed for the first time, and not just for the first time, but by plenty.
You know what that does, don't you? He's starting to put a little blanket over the running game here for the rest of the weekend. When you come out, you know, he is 50% throwing out base runners, and that throw was right on the money, and he got rid of it quickly.
Now the 1-0. And it's not that Chu couldn't have stolen the base, but the hope there was that Martinez puts the ball in play.
That's exactly right. You start your runner, especially with the left-hander. You don't expect him to get a good jump. You expect him to, all right, you make sure he goes to the plate. You're banking that Victor's going to put the ball in play and hit it somewhere. He's not going to strike out. Well, once he strikes out, more times than not with a lefty on the mound, you're going to have a strike him out, throw him out, double play. And Chu, as you mentioned, that's the first time he's been caught.
So with 2 down, Travis Hafner, who lined one hard to first his first time up, takes a 4-pitch walk. Every time the Indians go deep this year, we raise money for the Gathering Place, an organization that helps individuals and families who are battling cancer. They do this with a variety of programs free of charge. And for every home run this year, Great Clips donating $50 per homer. Rick and I are each donating $5 per dinger. And you can log on to touchbycancer.org and make a donation yourself. Garrett Olson is headed to the showers. His night is over after 2 2/3 innings, and we've got a timeout with the Indians leading it 3-0. That's the Seattle Mariner bullpen.
No, that's a museum. Look at that.
What are they going to go jousting later on?
Now that I've got to find out about this. We got to do our homework tomorrow, because that's obviously the relievers or the bullpen. That's their masks, or and look at the hardware. The Warriors. We'll have to figure that out. I did see some clips on some highlights about those masks. I wasn't sure how they got, and I didn't know they traveled with them.
Chris Jakubowskis on in relief. Like the man he is coming in for, Garrett Olson, he has spent time in the rotation and out of the bullpen. Johnny Peralta grounded out to third, his first time up tonight. And the count is now 2-1. Jakubowskis coming out of the bullpen, 3-1 with a 3.91 ERA as a starter, 2-5 and a 6.64 earned run average. Missed outside, 3 balls and a strike. On the 3-1, a ground ball in the hole. Inning stays alive as Hafner goes to second. 6th hit tonight for the Indians. And with 2 on and 2 out, Ben Francisco will be the batter.
Well, you get that fastball that you want, your count. Find the hole. So they welcome Jakubowskis with a base hit.
Francisco reached on an error and scored an unearned run in the second. That's going to get away from Jojima, and the Indians are going to get runners to second and third. So now a base hit could potentially play to pair.
A little wild pitch there. Ball will get under the glove. Let's see, that bounce looked like it skipped off a home plate. Didn't look like it got much dirt, did it? That ball skidded past Jojima there. So the runners will move up. You're right, a base hit could be very big right here in this game.
Francisco has just 1 hit in his last 12 at bats. Jakubowskis lets it fly, and it's low, 2-0. 3 balls and no strikes. And he's picking up where Olson left off.
Yeah, these guys are pitching behind in the count, and you're going to get hurt.
.30 pitch. Strike to the outside corner. Well, you had a feeling it was going to be one of those nights for Garrett Olson when you consider that coming into this game tonight, leadoff hitters had reached base safely against him 6 times in 51 at bats, and the Indians were 2 for 3 getting their leadoff man on against him.
Yeah. Well, and then you throw an error in there in the inning that they didn't get their leadoff man aboard. Yeah. That was on the second hitter, and that's all it took.
Woodward will throw out Francisco, and the Mariners get out of the inning without giving up any more runs, and it remains 3-0 Cleveland through 3. A little sandlot game working right here. Oh, they've got the machine set up. 4th inning, 3-0 Tribe. Ken Griffey Jr. at the plate, 3-man shift on the right side, and Griffey's going to try to bunt it by the mound. Cliff grabs it, throws it, got him.
Nice play. And I mean, that's a gimme hit. So for Griffey, anytime he does that, you'll take it as a pitcher. But I can see what he's thinking. Let me get this inning started with a base hit. If he pushed it harder, it's a gimme. Cliff Lee falls off the mound, and he's pretty quick. He's like a cat off the mound, but you see it was toward the line. He just had to push it a little harder. If he does, he starts the inning off with a base hit. He did not, so he goes down. Good play by Lee.
Now Franklin Gutierrez, who popped one up on the infield. Second baseman Jamie Carroll and Asdrubal Cabrera converged on the play, and Asdrubal made the catch. Franklin said it was really strange coming here to Progressive Field tonight. He said, I was walking down the hallway and I almost went past the visiting clubhouse.
Yeah, it's easy to do when you go in to your former house and, you know, for the first time. It's a weird feeling.
But he is thriving in Seattle and having a terrific year for the Mariners in a year when they really needed somebody like him to step forward and have a big year, because you're talking about a team with a remarkable turnaround from a year ago. And Rick told you they lost 101 games last year. A winning percentage last year of .377. They're at .523.
Yeah.
That's a difference of 146 points.
Well, at the break last year, they were 37-58. Okay, I mean, now that it was at the break last year, and that is a remarkable turnaround. The Indians 35 and 54, very similar this year.
Whereas the Mariners have the biggest improvement, the Indians have the biggest decline in baseball. 107 points different. Of course, last year they finished right at the break-even mark, and this year they come in.
And you can see how it's done.
393.
It's done by pitching. Seattle #1 in the league.
Yeah.
In the pitching department, they're the only team in the league with an ERA under 4. They're at 3.73 coming into today. The Indians have the worst in baseball at 5.40. So I mean the difference, and you mentioned how many runs scored the Indians, how many more they've scored than Seattle. It's how many you give up, man.
On his way,
you're in every game.
Second base with a double here is Gutierrez. That's his 11th two-bagger of the year, and a one-out base runner for Seattle here in the 4th. I think Texas has proved over the years you can have great offense, you can score a ton of runs, but you have to have the pitching. And if you have minimal offense with good pitching, as you said, you're in every game, and then it's just a matter of can you do the little things late to put yourself in front.
Your offense is how many times we said is only as good as your bullpen. When you get that run late in the ball game, this is why they're good with one-run games. When they give them the lead, they hold it.
Yeah.
You don't have to go out and score more come the 8th, 7th, or 8th inning. You get the run after the 7th inning and you hold on to it, you win a lot of games. And that's when you look at all the teams around baseball, or the ones that'll be there in the end of the year. That's the way they do it.
Langer hands, pops one up. Center fielder Grady Sizemore's there. 2 down. Well, you're talking about the Cleveland Indians of 2007.
Right.
I mean, that describes them perfectly. Get the lead, give it to the bullpen in the 7th, and goodbye. That game's over. The other team's not coming back on you.
I mean, that way the offense knows exactly when they have to score, they score. They find a way to scrape a run in somehow, some way, some shape, some form. That brings everybody together.
Kenji Jojima had a base hit his first time up. He got ahead in the count, got a fastball up, and he pulled it into left field. He gets a base hit here, he could put the Mariners on the board. Cliff Lee gets ahead, though, with a first pitch strike.
Well, Cliff threw him a nice fastball to hit his last time up. 2 strikes right there, belt high, middle in.
The 0-1. Missed up high with it.
Cliff has yet to give up a hit from the stretch today.
The 1-1. Yanked to third. Peralta is there. Flips it over, and the inning is over. Another hit, but no damage. We'll go to the bottom of the 4th, 3-0 Cleveland. so good. 3-zip Cleveland going to the bottom of the 4th inning. Jamie Carroll looks at a first pitch breaking ball that's high from Chris Jakubauskas. Carroll had an RBI double and scored in the 2nd. 2 balls and no strikes. Two balls and a strike. And he comes back to even the count. Chris Jakubauskas was born in Southern California. One hopper to third. Woodward will throw out Carroll, 1 away. Let's go back to the STO studios right now for a Ford Sports update with Al Pawlowski.
Matt, Rick, it's the big guys go along in Cincinnati. Prince Fielder here in the top of the 3rd inning, a 3-run jack for the Brew Crew. That gave them 3. Then Joey Votto strikes back with a 2-run homer for the Reds in the bottom half of the inning. 3-2, Milwaukee by 1, 5th inning in Cincy. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Al. In the dirt, 1 ball, no strikes. Kelly Shopik walked on 4 pitches his first time up tonight. And so far tonight, he's seen 6 pitches, and they're all balls.
Throwing up strikes. There you go.
Out the outside corner. Chris Jakubauskas, when he was in college, he was a first baseman and an outfielder. Foul back, and then he started his professional career in the Frontier League and converted to a pitcher. Finally, was acquired by the Mariners back in '07 from the American Association in the Independent League. So 4 full seasons in the Independent League for this young man, converting himself full-time to a pitcher, full count. So that's a pretty good story and perseverance.
Yes, it is.
Sticking with it. And then once he got to the Mariners organization, he really shot up through the ranks quickly. And now here he is in the big leagues. Payoff pitch. Shopik gets a piece to stay alive.
Got to send along some birthday wishes. Very good friend of mine, Kathy Hostler, celebrating her birthday tonight. Kathy, happy birthday. Also a Kathy Anthony turning 91. So the Kathys, happy birthday. Beautiful night to celebrate.
3-2. Jammed him, rolls it back to short. Cedeno will throw him out, 2 down. Let's get a look at our Subway fresh face of the game. Down on the farm. Today it's Carlos Santana, the Akron Arrows catcher. He was on the right side of the All-Star Futures game and the Eastern League All-Star game as well. Subway, play hard, eat fresh. In the air, left field, right at Langerhans. And the Indians go quietly here in the 4th. 1, 2, and 3. 4 complete. 3-0 Tribe. Is brought to you by Subway. Play hard, eat fresh. And by Alltel Wireless. Choose who you call for free with My Circle. Any number, any network. Well, it was a perfect day here in downtown Cleveland.
Here's the Underwood yacht. A little rocky out there for that today.
You remember the Huey Lewis video back in the 80s? What was it? I think it was the song "I'm Happy to Be Stuck with You," where he asks the girl, "You want to go for a ride on my yacht?" And it's a little rowboat with MYOTT on it. That's my yacht. Chris Woodward looks at another strike, and it's quickly 0-2. Tommy Bowe, you can tell he's fresh off the All-Star break. He's got the breakdown tonight on how many pitches it's taken Cliff Lee to get the first out in an inning. 2 in the first, 3 in the second. Took him 8 pitches
and 3 in the third,
1 in the fourth, and now 3 here in the fifth.
Okay. Well, he's recharged. That's the first strikeout too for Cliff tonight. Comes right down. 1, 2, 3. Good pitch. He's locked in. Looks good.
This scoreboard update brought to you by Wendy's. It's way better than fast food. It's Wendy's. Now Ronnie Cedeno, who flied out to center. His first time up in the third, and that's the guy. It took 8 pitches to get him out to start the third inning.
Well, and that's a guy who took a great catch to get him out as well from Grady Sizemore.
Yeah.
Not only 8 pitches, but a great catch.
This ball hit pretty well to deep right field. Chu racing back, out of room, out of here.
Where did this guy get the power?
Boy, Ronnie Cedeno just hit his 5th home run of the year, and twice tonight. He has blasted balls off Cliff Lee. One great catch. Took extra bases away from him. This time he just hit it over the fence. And the Mariners are on the board. It's now 3-1. And that's just the 9th home run allowed by Cliff Lee this year.
I mean, this guy he's been around a while, and I mean, he goes deep to center field straight away, and there's a fastball away, but he stayed back on, kept his hands back, but I didn't think this guy's that big, that strong to go oppo. He takes it into their bullpen. So he gets him on the board. It's a 3-1 ball game.
Here is Ichiro Suzuki, 1 for 2. He had a base hit his last time up. Ichiro coming off his 9th consecutive All-Star game appearance. And how about this? You want to talk about some numbers that just make you shake your head. 8 times this year. 8 games he didn't have a hit. That's it.
Oh.
That went screaming into the seats right over the top of the Indians dugout.
Boy,
everybody's
that got
all right
in there
though.
in a hurry. Well, he doesn't. You know what? He does a lot. Well, like what Wade Boggs used to do, and Rod Carew. He stays back on the ball. You rarely do you see him pull a ball. You know what I mean? Pull it foul. If he's going to be foul, he's going to be tardy, just like on that last swing. So he waits on it to the last minute, and he jams him right there. So good job and a good pitch by Cliff to jam him.
2 down.
You know, a guy that you want him to actually hit the ball in the air. But this guy makes adjustments. You see that ball inside. He was trying to slap it the other way, and Cliff just never gave him any swinging room. But if he doesn't hit it at an infielder, he can beat it out as well because he always leads the league in infield hits.
Russell Brandon looks at a first pitch breaking ball for a strike. Cliff Lee, 23 of his last 27 pitches have been for strikes. Brandon had the double in the first inning and reached on a fielder's choice in the third. This time he bangs it foul. And the count goes to 1-2. This is about to be the 70th pitch of the game for Cliff Lee.
Yeah.
The 1-2. Strike 3 called. Inning over. Cliff gets a pair of Ks, but the Mariners get on the board. Halfway home, it's 3-1 Cleveland. Sun begins to set. The Indians lead Seattle 3-1. Bottom of the 5th inning. And the pitch from Chris Jakubauskas is down low, 1-0. As Drupal Cabrera had an RBI double in the 1st inning, bounced into an inning-ending double play in the 2nd. And it's outside, 2 balls and no strikes. Will be interesting to see with Grady back in the leadoff spot and Cabrera now back in the 2-hole. If the Indians offense really benefits from these guys being back into what you would consider to be their comfort roles.
But you know what? I like that because they're any way you look at it, whether 1-2, either way, they're the table setters. I like Chu in the number 3 hole. I like Victor hitting 4th, the switch hitter. Because you get Hafner up there, and he's been swinging a bat better. And if he can consistently stay in that lineup, I like it. He should be in the top 5. Remember, you have Garko on the bench. He's not playing tonight because Shopik's in there catching Cliff Lee, so he will be back in there.
Oh, going to be a tough play. Jakubauskas backs up, drops the ball, and Cabrera safe at first. What made that tough for Jakubauskas is he's backpedaling and going downhill at the same time. Although he did look like he fielded it cleanly and then just dropped it. But you'll get a good look at it here, what I'm talking about. He's got to go up the hill.
Okay, he's got that. That's no problem. He takes his eye off it is what he does. And he wanted to throw to first base. He took his eye off it instead of catching the ball. It is tough going up the mound, but he had that part. Look at him. You see where he's turned before he catches it? It goes off the end of his glove, and it goes as an error, which is the right call. The second error of the night for Seattle.
And another one for the Mariners.
Yeah, that's 70. 70 on the, and that is number 9 by their pitchers. I mean, anywhere you look, the least amount of errors they have as a ball club is 6, and that's by the catchers.
Now Chu had a base hit his last time up. This ball gets away, but not far enough. They're close to getting another one.
Well, that's how the Indians took advantage of that second inning with the error.
I'm not sure if Brandon even got leather on this. Let's take another look here.
Now remember, when Russell was here.
Oh, I think that hit us Drupal square in the back.
I think you're right. He didn't. When Brandon was here, he never played first base. He was always a third baseman or a DH. He never played first.
Another throw over. This time Brandon grabs it.
You know, as we all know, you think, you know, you can put anybody over there at first base. Well, I'm going to tell you, that's a difficult position to play. And, you know, over the course of time, it will show. From short hops from the infielders.
Big bouncer. Branyan goes to second. They get one, and that's all they get. And with one out and Chu at first, we'll go back to the STO studios for another Ford Sports Update with Al.
All right, guys, we'll go down to Miami. Philadelphia taking on the Marlins. Raul Ibanez, deep to left field. Gone. Two-run homer. Put Philadelphia up 2-0. Then he comes up again here in the fourth inning and goes to right field. Solo shot put him up 3-0. It's now 4-0 Philadelphia in Florida. Back to you.
Guy's having some kind of year, isn't he? And he was hurt before the break. He's got 24 dingers now.
Sure, the Marlins were looking at this as a big series coming out of the break. Just 4 back of the Phillies in the division. But the Phillies, winners of 5 straight.
Yeah,
they're looking at this going, hey, we got a chance to open up a little cushion here.
Yeah, I think they were 9-1 at home before the break. They put a surge on. Florida very streaky this year as far as offense goes.
1 ball, 1 strike to count on Victor Martinez, who has walked and struck out tonight. 3-1, Tribe leads it. Home half of the 5th inning. Chu, the runner at first with 1 out. And the count out 2-1. Kenji Jojima threw out Asdrubal Cabrera trying to steal third in the first. Then he gunned down Chu in the 3rd inning, effectively putting the brakes on the Indians' running game. Two balls, 2 strikes.
Well, when you've got a guy that can do that and your pitchers do a halfway decent job of holding runners, that eliminates the running game. You do not want to make outs on the bases. And, you know, for the most part, most teams are average running teams anyway, especially in this league, other than Tampa, the Angels.
Ball gets away from Jojima, and on the wild pitch, Chu's going to go to second base. That's the second wild pitch tonight. So in addition to the errors, a couple of wild pitches.
I want to see what this one hit. I wasn't sure if he was on the right pitch. Oh,
hit the plate again.
Yes, it did. That's the second time it hit the plate and stayed down. I was going to say it almost looked like it was so short he didn't go out to get it, but it hit the plate. So it skipped and it stayed down, not like hitting the dirt and coming up a little bit. The second straight time, both wild pitches, that has done that to Jojima. He's thinking, my goodness. You need about another 6 inches. It's 60 feet 6 inches from home plate. Get a little extra on it.
Or you'd almost rather the pitcher bounce it in front of the plate, I suppose, if you're the catcher.
Yeah, it's probably easier to block.
And on the 3-2 pitch to Martinez, Jakubowski steps off. Payoff pitch. Struck him out looking. And that's the second strikeout for Victor Martinez tonight. 2 down.
Well, tomorrow night it'll be fireworks night here after the ball game as this beach weekend will continue. 7:05 start. Come on out to the ballpark.
Travis Hafner now digs in. He is lined out and walked. You got a runner at second base with 2 down here in the 5th inning. Jojima blocks that ball in the dirt.
This would be a perfect time to come back and add on in this ball game because you have 2 outs. The Mariners just got on the board at the top half of this inning. If you can come back and respond and answer it, because remember now this inning should be over. It was because Jakubowski's missed that ball off Cabrera to start the inning, so it gave him an extra out.
Outside 2-0.
The wild pitch put him in scoring position.
Jakubowski hasn't given up a run, but he has not been very sharp either. He's 19 strikes, 19 balls since coming on in relief of Garrett Olson, who allowed 3 runs in 2 2/3 innings, walking 3 and giving up 5 hits. The right-hander's 2-0 pitch. And it's down low, 3-0. Johnny Peralta would be next. And they just go ahead and put him on. So 2 on with 2 out, and Johnny Peralta coming to the plate. Hey, don't forget the Cleveland Indians Charity Celebrity Golf Classic is coming Monday, August 3rd at Quail Hollow Resort and Country Club. Golf, breakfast, lunch, post-golf cocktail party. Call 216-420-HITS or visit Indians.com/golf to make your reservation. Breaking ball in for a first pitch strike to Peralta, who had a base hit his last time up. Jakubowski came on in relief of Garrett Olson and faced Peralta in that 3rd inning with 2 outs. There's a jam job, might drop. Coming on is Langerhans, can't get there. Coming home to score is Chu. Hafner stops at second, and it's a 2-out RBI bloop single for Johnny Peralta. And the Indians do answer back,
yes,
and now lead it 4-1.
Yes, they do. You can see the look on Jakubowski's face. He's upset. He might have made a good pitch, but Peralta got enough of it. Gets it in front. Left fielder Langerhans, who's diving for it, jammed him. Got it down around the trademark, but they come right back and answer that run put on the board by the Mariners. And a good time to do it in the 5th inning. It's now a 4-1 game.
2 on, 2 out for Ben Francisco. Looks at a ball inside. Francisco 0 for 2 tonight. Reached on an error and scored in the 2nd. Mariner bullpen busy again. Back over the screen for Francisco. Nothing doing on the base paths. As you see, right-hander Sean Kelly loosening for Seattle.
The Indians tonight 3 for 7 with runners in scoring position. 5 for 11 with runners on.
And this has been the key for the Indians tonight. Even though they haven't busted out with a big inning, they have been ahead in the count almost all night long.
Yep, they've had only 1-2-3 inning. That was the last inning in the 4th. But they're keeping the pressure on the defense, and the defense has made a couple of mistakes.
2-1, popped him up. First baseman Russell Brandon into foul ground. Inning over. Indians get a run back though, and through 5, it's now Cleveland 4, Seattle 1. Sixth inning here at Progressive Field. 4-1. Cleveland leads it. Cliff Lee sizzling here tonight. Look at that. 25 of his last 29 for strikes. 11 straight first pitch strikes.
Now Cliff has thrown 70 pitches, make it 71 tonight, and Seattle pitchers have thrown 115.
Jose Lopez aboard with a leadoff single here in the sixth. First time the Mariners get their leadoff man aboard tonight. Well, Lopez saying, well, if he's throwing all these first pitch strikes, how about let's swing at that first pitch?
You know what? We see teams do that against Cliff Lee, a lot of teams, and why not? I mean, when you go after and put the ball in play, I think he surrenders a pretty high average when you can put it in play. Because he is strike one a lot.
Ken Griffey Jr. tried to bunt his way aboard first time up and failed. Then takes a first pitch breaking ball for a strike. Jr. 0 for 2. Has batted .273 this year against left-handed pitching.
Well, this game does turn into a full circle. It's nice to see him back in a Seattle uniform, isn't it? Started his career there and is going to end his career there.
Oh, just kind of a defensive, almost getting out of the way, check swing and made contact. 0-2. I would imagine not every guy, but most players, if they have any kind of a lengthy career, somewhere in the back of their mind they would always love to go back where it all began to
where
finish
you started. Yeah, I would say that's very true. Look at that, almost 1,800 ribbies. What a career.
There's a high pop, shallow right. Chu coming in. One down. Time now for our Northern Ohio Toyota dealers game recap. Grady Sizemore's base hit here made it 3-0 Cleveland. And Ronnie Cedeno got the Mariners on the board with a solo blast to right. But Johnny Peralta answered back with a 2-out RBI bloop single to make it 4-1 Cleveland. For a dealer near you, visit buyatoyota.com. Franklin Gutierrez is 1 for 2 tonight. He had a a double with 1 out in the fourth inning. One-0 pitch in the air, right center field. Chu into the gap, makes the grab. 2 down. Another look at the Alltel text poll question of the game. What do you think the Indians are going to do post All-Star break? Where will they end up in the win column? Text us your answer. We'll have the results coming up later in the game. Ryan Langerhans is 0 for 2 tonight. He'll step in with a runner at first and 2 down. Bouncing ball, and the shortstop Cabrera steps on second. Inning over. Bottom of the sixth coming up. 4-1 Tribe. Bottom of the 6th at Progressive Field. Indians with a 4-1 advantage, and another new pitcher for Seattle, right-hander Sean Kelly. Coming on now in relief of Chris Jakubauskas.
Kelly coming on for the 14th time. 1-1, 593. Has only pitched 13 and 2/3 innings, 18 hits, walked 3, struck out 11. So Jakubauskas goes 2 1/3. The starter Olson went 2 2/3, and the Indians have a 4-1 lead. Indians have 7 hits on the night, 2 of them doubles. They scored in the 1st, the 2nd, and the 5th. Actually, the 2nd and the 5th, that's when the defense went awry on Seattle. Both errors in that, in one in the 2nd, one in the 5th. They took advantage of it.
Yeah, 2 unearned runs allowed tonight. Fouled out of play. Jamie Carroll had an RBI double in the 2nd inning that scored one of those unearned runs. Ben Francisco came around to score. When you give a Major League Baseball team an extra out, you just put so much more pressure on everybody.
Sure you do. I mean, you know, that's hard enough when you give 27 outs to get through that game, you know, and keep it in check. When you give a couple extras, you give 29, 31, 32, there's a really good chance you're going to get beat.
And 9 times this year, it's been a Seattle pitcher who has committed an error. Russell Brandon will go to the bag himself. 1 down. About our All Care Dental and Dentures Smile and Easy Cam. First game back from the All-Star break. Lots of smiles in the ballpark here this evening. And why not? What wouldn't make you smile on a day like this?
Beach weekend. How appropriate. Although it's going to cool down over the weekend. You may have wetsuits on come Sunday. Not for rain, for coolness.
All Care Dental and Dentures makes seeing the dentist easy.
It was the Parma night here before the game.
Is that right?
Yeah, they got a chance to parade around the field. You didn't see Tony out in the dugout on the top step.
Was he leading the parade?
No, I expected him to. I think he was too busy in the clubhouse.
Doing what?
That I don't know.
Kelly Shopik has walked and grounded out tonight. In the hole, and it gets past Cedeno. Shopik with a base hit. 8th hit of the night for the Tribe. And they get a 1-out base runner for Grady Sizemore, who's swinging a hot bat.
Well, he just gets enough on this ball, and it's shot by Cedeno. You think you're going to have a chance at it, and it just picks up speed.
Grady Sizemore tonight has 2 hits, a run scored, a run batted in. And he came in batting .308 in the month of July.
Well, it just, you know, and it doesn't make a big deal, but it was just nice seeing him in that leadoff spot tonight in the bottom half of the 1st inning.
And hopefully the elbow holds up and, you know, he's able to get through the rest of the season.
Well, you want to see that. Now, you figure, you see, he's going to need surgery, you know, at the end of the year, they say, to fix whatever's in that elbow, and he's going to play with some pain, and they've got to rest him. And is that a little sleeve he's got on there?
Yep.
So you don't know, but it's just nice. I mean, you feel for him because he has struggled this year, and it's not the same Grady that we're used to seeing day after day after day.
The way I understand it, for Sizemore, the issue of the surgery, it's not like waiting to have it at the end of the season is going to have any kind of impact on him being ready for next year anyway.
Right.
I mean, some people are like, well, why didn't he just have the surgery now? Why mess around? Well,
yeah, and rehab and get ready to go before spring training.
Yeah, he'll have plenty of time, from the way I understand it, to have the surgery after the season and be ready to go next spring.
He can't hurt it any more than it's already hurt. Is that right?
Essentially, I think that's
there you
the way
go.
I hear it. Yeah.
So
it's just a matter of, you know, how long can he play
with the pain,
the discomfort, the pain.
Yeah, well, let's say the pain, because there's pain in there, obviously.
3-1 pitch fouled back.
Finish up our birthday list. Harold Bissell of Niles is turning 72 today. Happy birthday, Harold. Aaron and Tricia Hawker of Columbus Grove celebrating their 4th anniversary tonight. Happy anniversary to you.
Kelly Shopik has walked and singled tonight, so he's been on base a couple of times. Payoff pitch. Grady shoots it back foul. In the month of July, Grady Sizemore has scored 9 runs and he has driven in 9 runs. In addition to that .308 batting average coming into tonight's action. Payoff. In the air left field, shallow. Langerhand's coming hard. He's going to dive, and oh, what a great catch he made. He was all out with the dive and was able to steal a hit from Sizemore.
That was a nice play. Nice running catch where he was. A good thing he was a left-hander. It would have been a backhanded play. Look at him extend it out. That helped him in that situation there. Don't know if we would have got there on the backhanded side. Makes a nice diving catch. That's out number 2.
And it will bring up Asdrubal Cabrera. Langerhans was unable to come up with the blooper off the bat of Johnny Peralta last inning with the diving effort. This time had just enough to get there. Some activity now in the Indians bullpen. I'm not sure if that's just somebody getting some work. It's got to be, right?
I would think so. The way Cliff Lee is pitching here, we don't want to open those gates just yet.
.2-0 pitch. Bouncing ball. Oh, it's off the glove of Brandon. The flip, and it's not in time. And now Shopik's going to go all the way to third. So another defensive miscue for Seattle. And the Indians now have runners at first and third. It'll be a base hit, I believe, for Cabrera, because that was a tough play initially. But the poor flip by Brandon allows Shopik to go to third.
Yeah, it'll be a base hit and an error. You'll get a good look at it. I mean, nothing you could do. You dive for the ball, you don't catch it. Now you just put it in your pocket because it's a timing play with that pitcher running to first base. You know, if you don't time it just right, then he's not going to catch it. And he throws him a changeup, trying to get him. Cabrera comes in safe. It gets by him. Shopik goes to third base. So a base hit, the 3rd error of the night by the Mariners, the 2nd by Branyan, and another chance to take advantage.
And Shin-Soo Choo is the batter. 1 for 3 tonight. And he lines one towards center field. Gutierrez coming in, makes the grab, and the inning is over. 6 complete from Progressive Field. Cleveland 4, Seattle 1. solutions for all your natural gas needs. Visit directenergy.com/GoTribe for details. And by AM/PM. Too much good stuff. Night falls in downtown Cleveland, and the Indians lead the Mariners 4-1. First game after the All-Star break. Cliff Lee, 77 pitches on the night. 56 of them have been for strikes. 31 of his last 36 pitches have been strikes. And he'll face the bottom third of the Mariner order here in the 7th inning. Kenji Jojima 1 for 2 with a single. The Mariners have had a hit in every inning. They've had exactly 1 hit in every inning. They scored on a solo homer in the 5th. It's the only inning they haven't left a runner on base.
73% strikes for Lee tonight, and there's your hit. You mention it, and they get one.
Second straight inning, they get the leadoff man aboard. Let's get a look at our direct energy, bringing the gas sequence. Take you back to the 5th inning. Chris Woodward. Cliff Lee at this point did not have a strikeout in the game.
Well, it didn't take long either. It was good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Fastball, strike 1. Fastball, strike 2. Fastball, strike 3. He didn't mess around, did he?
Direct energy, simple solutions for your natural gas supply needs. And a fastball for strike 4. He's just pounding him right after him.
Well, they know the scouting report. Shopik sitting behind the plate. They know how they wanted to attack this guy.
The 0-1 up high. Well, here's the thing. I told you the Mariners have a hit in every inning. But when Cliff has gone out of the stretch, they're 0 for 10. So they have not been able to take advantage of any of those base runners.
No, they have not.
Back to the screen, 1-2 the count. One-two pitch, swung on and missed. He got him again, and leaving nothing to the imagination. Third strikeout for Cliff Lee, 1 down in the 7th, and let's take a look at the Mercedes attention assist of the game. How about Grady Sizemore?
How about it? There it is right there, boy. And watch Cliff. Cliff at the end of this says, "That a baby." Nice play, but that is, there you go. Uh-huh. Seen it happen many times.
Yes, indeed. Ronnie Cedeno has really swung the bat well against Cliff Lee. He's the one that drove that ball to deep center in the 3rd that Grady made the great catch on. Then in the 5th inning, he drove one over the fence in right field for the Mariners' only run. Chopper to short. Cabrera on the short, a back hit and flip to second and turn 2. Amazing double play. Cabrera to Carroll to Victor. 6-4-3 twin killer. And that was a dazzling defensive gem. pizza wings are one of their famous overstuffed sandwiches on the beautiful outdoor patios. Panini's has some of the best outdoor dining in town. Log on to paninisgrill.com. One more look at the sensational double play to end the top half of this inning.
Well, he had no other choice but to go back behind his back and flip it to Carroll. Carroll was ready for it. He gave him plenty of time to look for it and see as they double it up, and that was really a beautiful play.
Who loves it more than him?
Yeah, well, and I mean, he watched it on the replay on the big scoreboard in between innings. That's why he loved it. I mean, he was smiling so much. So 2 very good defensive plays in the ball game for him.
Now Roy Corcoran coming on for Seattle to work the bottom of the 7th inning. Sean Kelly went 1 scoreless inning, allowed 2 hits. And Victor Martinez leads it off. He has struck out twice tonight. He's also walked. Little tapper. The second baseman, Lopez, throws him out. 1 away.
Well, you can get a tour of Progressive Field if you haven't had an opportunity to do that. It's really a great tour. You can check out just about everything in the ballpark, from pest box, bullpen, dugout. You get to the visiting clubhouse, Heritage Park, just about anywhere you want to see. Group rates are available. You can get tickets at Indians.com, or you can call 216-420-HITS.
Travis Hafner fouls one back. Pronk tonight has walked twice and lined out to first. Little tapper, that's going to go foul. 0-2 the count. So what'd you do during the All-Star break?
Nothing.
But you did it well?
I did it very well. Well, we played golf in the STO outing on Monday.
That's right, we had that, yeah.
Had that on Monday, and other than that, just some chores and vegged.
Chores.
Yeah.
You do chores.
Absolutely.
You don't have somebody to do those for you?
Come follow me around for a day, and you'll be sleeping by game time. I do not. I do on my own.
Just missed outside, 1-2. Played golf yesterday with the Ashland boys.
How'd you play?
Well, my partner, Mike Marquette, and I, well, we had a blind draw, so you didn't know who your partner was until you were done. There were 8 of us all together. We both shot 95. That's not a good draw for a partner.
Well, if you're going off handicaps, it's okay.
That's the key, because we beat your boy Zapp and his partner, John Marquette.
Well, I'm surprised Zapp didn't pencil whip you on the way out.
Pair of 95s, but we still prevailed.
And with Zapp keeping score, that's hard to do.
Yeah, because he had a big eraser on the end of his pencil,
I
too.
know he did.
Now the 2-2 pitch. Coming in, Lopez from the outfield grass, and Hafner beats the shift with a little dribbler.
Yeah, because he was playing him so deep at second base. That's the play that's going to get you when you hit the topper. And with Cedeno at short, if you're not over on that side of the infield to play in, you see he's on the shortstop side. He'd have to be on the second base side if they wanted to make that play, and the shortstop would have had to make it. That's why Hafner gets the base hit. They didn't commit and put the full shift and make shortstop go over to second base, and that's why enabled Hafner to get the infield single.
Johnny Peralta with 2 hits on the night and a 2-out RBI. So Johnny now over his last 16 games has driven in 7. Picked the batting average up. He's bumped it up over the 260 mark. Ground ball to third. They go to second for one, and they'll turn two, and the inning is over. We'll go to the 8th here at Progressive Field. It's Cleveland 4, Seattle 1.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Cleveland Indians and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians.
We're back here at Progressive Field, where Cliff Lee takes a 4-1 lead into the 8th inning here tonight. He's made 85 pitches so far. The Indians haven't exactly showered him with offensive support, but they have supported him every which way possible, not only with the bats tonight, but defensively with some spectacular work in the field.
Well, and we had talked about it and mentioned it that Cliff has had a lot of success against the Mariners in his career. 7-1, the best all-time winning percentage, and he continues to dominate here. They have 4 left-handers in the lineup.
Pitch is up high. If you're the Seattle Mariners, to this point in the game, Ronnie Cedeno is the whole highlight reel. His fly out to center field that Grady Sizemore caught at the fence in the 3rd inning. His solo homer in the 5th, and he's the one that hit into that great double play in the 7th.
Right.
Ichiro Suzuki grounds out to start the 8th. 1 down.
Well, if you're looking for a unique place to hold a special occasion, check out the Suites. It's perfect for entertaining clients or rewarding employees, and your group will experience premium service, food, and beverage while enjoying the game. Call 216-420-HITS for more details.
Downstairs, ball 1 to Russell Brandon, who is 1 for 3 with a double.
Cliff has done a nice job against the lefties tonight in that Seattle lineup. 2 for 13.
Two-0 pitch. Missed down low with it. Right-hander Mark Lowe now loosening in the Mariner pen. Comes back with a strike to make it 3-1. Full count. Again, 3 on the right side for the Indians with Brandon at the plate. And the payoff pitch is strike 3 called. He rung him up again looking. 4th strikeout for Cliff Lee. Once again, let's go back to the STO studios for a Ford Sports update.
All right, fellas, we go back down to the Queen City. Reds, Brewers, and Milwaukee busting this one open in the 6th inning. Here, J.J. Hardy with the single to center scores Fielder and Cameron. Milwaukee went ahead 6-2. It's now 8-2 in the bottom of the 6th in Cincy. Back to you.
2 down, bases empty. Jose Lopez looks at a first pitch strike, and that has been a theme tonight for Cliff Lee. He has been a first pitch strike throwing machine.
It's been a theme of Cliff for 2 years. You know, it's just that it seems like when you give him a few runs, he seems a little fresher, doesn't it?
Well, I think mentally it's just got to ease
That's,
a little bit of the burden.
I mean, you feel better. You go out there with a little more confidence and a little more moxie.
Broke his bat just beyond the reach of Peralta. Lopez will stop at first with a 2-out single. Cleveland Indians Charities and Flashes of Hope need your help in fighting pediatric cancer. 9-year-old cancer patient Quinn Clark decided to turn his favorite game into a fundraiser. That game was kickball. Stop by an Indians team shop, purchase a $30 kickball kit, and get out and help kick cancer. You could win a chance to play kickball with an Indians player on Progressive Field. For more information, visit kick-it.org.
That'll be great. It'll be after a game on Sunday. Sunday after the games will be Kids Day, and they'll be playing the kickball game out in the outfield. So it should be a lot of fun, and it's a good way to raise money for a terrific charity.
No question about it. Junior comes up empty after the big swing. The 1-1 nails the outside corner. Ball and 2 strikes. Griffey Jr. 0 for 3 tonight. A couple of ground outs. He's also flying out to right. Rafael Betancourt loosening. Cliff Lee right at 100 pitches on the night. 71 for strikes. And the 1-2 pitch. Did he go? They appeal. He's gone. Chad Fairchild punches him out. And Cliff Lee has thrown 8 strong innings here tonight.
Well, the Tribe ahead 4-1, and if you're traveling, you can always catch the Tribe on your computer with MLB.tv. It's the ultimate baseball experience, featuring 100 live out-of-market games per week, plus on-demand games. For full details, visit Indians.com, where baseball is always on.
Ben Francisco leading off the home half of the 8th. Bottom third of the Indians order here. Facing Mark Lowe. 5th Mariner pitcher to work tonight. Slow chopper to third. And it's fair ball. He fielded it in fair ground, and Woodward mishandled it. And that enables Francisco to reach to start the 8th inning. And another defensive bobble for Seattle.
He may get a base hit here. We'll take a look at it. Ben got out of the box very well. He was laying back on it, thinking it was going to be a foul ball, but that was a good call. He was in fair territory and went to throw it and just falls out, lost the handle.
And they do give him an error.
Okay, that's 4 errors. Boy, the 3 days sort of messed up their timing defensively, didn't it?
Or did it? And that's the question, because they were not a very good defensive team going into the break, and they kind of picked up where they left off.
4 errors
well,
in
this
a ball
is
game. That's got to be a season high. I got to look for that.
Jamie Carroll squares, bunts it up in the air, and Brandon's going to grab it. So that'll be out number 1. This scoreboard update brought to you by Coors Light. Frost brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. One of the few times this year that Jamie Carroll unable to execute in that situation. Normally he's dead on. Shopping a big swing and a miss. No balls, 2 strikes. Now the 2-strike pitch coming. And a swing and a miss. 2 down after the strikeout. And we'll go to the top of the order now, and Grady Sizemore. Results of the Alltel text poll. Boy, pretty even split. But the majority think it's going to be under 70. Here's some good news. Fausto Carmona tonight in a start at AAA, went 7 innings against Syracuse, allowed 2 runs on 7 hits, did not walk a batter, and struck out 7. So we'll hope that's good news in the return of Fausto Carmona, and be great to see him back here maybe as early as the end of the month, if not sometime in August. Sizemore, 2 hits, a run batted in, a run scored. Robbed of a hit his last time up on a diving catch by left fielder Ryan Langerhans. Foul tipped in. That got a piece of Jojima. That went straight down and got him, I think, on the top of the leg. Yep, he's going to.
Well, that's where the umpire is going to walk the ball out to home to the mound and give that catcher.
Oh,
ouch.
Yeah.
Oopsie.
Okay. So what was it you said you did during the All-Star break?
Not much.
Jojima, he ready to go again. The 1-1 pitch. Ground ball weakly hit to second. Throws him out. Inning over. We will go to the ninth here at Progressive Field. It's Cleveland 4, Seattle 1. Ninth inning here at Progressive Field. It's been a beautiful evening in terms of the weather, and it's been a beautiful evening in terms of the game. Well played by the Indians. They took advantage of some early defensive miscues by Seattle. And defensively, they have played brilliantly behind the tremendous pitching by Cliff Lee. Franklin Gutierrez will lead off the ninth. And looks at a first pitch strike. He's 1 for 3. He doubled in the fourth inning. And a big breaking ball in for strike 2. He told me earlier this year when they played against the Yankees facing his old buddy C.C. Sabathies that I went 3 for 3 and hit a home run off of him.
Oh, yeah? Well, you know, when they were playing in San Diego this year, he took who'd he take deep to win the game? Edward Mujica.
Edward Mujica,
yes. He took him deep in San Diego, and he beat another pitcher for the Indians there.
Hottest hitter in the league in the month of July. Came in batting .404 in this month. One hit tonight. That double came back in the fourth. Now the 0-2 pitch from Lee. Ground ball to second. Carroll on the big hop. Throws him out, one down. Let's get a look at our Northern Ohio Buick Pontiac GMC performance of the game. To this point, it's Cliff Lee, 8 1/3. 1 run on 8 hits. He has punched out 5. But he's got 2 big outs to go. We'll get a pinch hitter here. It looks like Chris Shelton, the former Detroit Tiger, will pinch hit here for Ryan Langerhans. And takes a strike.
Boy, if I'm a pinch hitter, that's the pitch you're looking for. You get up and you watch him. He's thrown a lot of first pitch fastballs tonight for strike 1. You hate to spot him that fastball when you're a pinch hitter.
Ground ball again. It's to Carroll. And the second baseman will throw him out. 2 down. And all that stands between Cliff Lee and a complete game victory here tonight is Kenji Jojima. Jojima is 2 for 3. He has 2 singles off Cliff Lee tonight. One he pulled to left, one he punched to right. Down low for ball 1, and that came in at 94 miles an hour, so I venture a guess to say he's pumped up a little bit.
He's amped up, yes. But he knows enough where he's just got to take a couple of deep breaths and settle in.
Ground ball up the middle. Carroll dives. Gets to his feet, throws, and Martinez can't come up with it. And so Jojima aboard at first with 2 outs here in the 9th, and the Mariners are still breathing.
Well, good try. There's not much you can do. I thought it was going to get into center field. He was able to stop it, and Jojima, the catcher, was running. So he had a chance with a perfect throw. And he tried to get everything on it he could. Victor couldn't come up with the pick, so he reaches it. That's got to be a base hit, huh? Yeah, that's a base hit. That's a good call. So a 2-out single, and then a guy he has had a lot of success against tonight.
Chris Woodward, 0 for 3. He has struck out in his last 2 plate appearances, and Cliff has simply blown it by him in those last 2 at-bats. Fastball, strike 1. Stay tuned for the Conrad's postgame show. We'll wrap it all up. Get you set up for tomorrow's game. Cliff Lee closing in on a complete game victory here. The 0-1 fouled into the seats over the Mariner dugout. And now it's a no ball, 2-strike count. And the 0-2 pitch, swung out and missed. He struck him out, and Cliff Lee has his 2nd complete game win of the year, 9th of his career.